Hello, dear friends. We are in the most important solar storm, and this is only the beginning. Opinion piece. Unprecedented solar flare. Failure in air communication. Massive solar plasma explosion. Argentina withdraws its ambassadors. Failure in the economic matrix according to the IMF. Let's start. The largest solar flare in years was detected this Friday, which even caused a global interruption in radio signals. It is the most powerful eruption that the sun has produced since the great storms of September 2017. A solar wave hit the Earth's magnetic field yesterday, Friday, December 15th, at 12:16 UT. This impact could set the stage for a larger storm today, Saturday the 17th, when the same flare deals an indirect blow to the Earth's magnetic field. As the Sun approaches the peak of its 11-year cycle, with peak sunspot activity projected from 2025, this latest event serves as a reminder of the dynamic and abrupt nature of our star. Intense solar activity caused a 2-hour disruption to radio communications in several satellite regions of the world, including parts of the US. The Space Weather Prediction Center, are a key body that monitors space weather, confirmed the widespread effects of the flare across the country. Aviation professionals were among the first to report the impact as pilots experienced notable communication disruptions. The solar flare emanated from a sunspot region that is now being closely examined by scientists who are watching for any signs of coronal mass ejection, a massive explosion of plasma from the sun that, if headed toward Earth, could have significant implications. The Solar Dynamic Observatory is a spacecraft in high orbit around Earth since 2010, which has played a decisive role in detecting this event. The observatory specialized in capturing solar phenomena in extreme ultraviolet light showed the flare as a bright and intense flash, indicating an increasing energy of our central star. Europe. The European economy is not growing and is weakening rapidly, according to The Economist. Economic activity in the Eurozone predicts its worst decline in 11 years. Europe is heading towards something unthinkable as support for Russian values grows, says Sorja Fall. The EU is still very far from accepting Ukraine into its ranks, says Macron. Zelensky returns to the US to ask for more money. The Washington Post warned that Zelensky failed to convince the authorities. Ukraine is not in the national security interests of the US, said Scott Ryder, a former Marine Corps intelligence officer. Former Pentagon analyst Michael Maloof believes that the Ukraine project is doomed to failure. A Ukrainian deputy detonates 3 grenades at a local council session. Spain. Young Spaniards speak, write and understand their language increasingly worse, according to the Royal Academy of Language. The former director of the IMF, Rodrigo Rato, requested this Friday the annulment of the trial he is facing for crimes against public finances, money laundering and corruption between individuals. He requested the annulment of the process, alleging the violation of his privacy in the case. Asia. China breaks its car production record and doubles manufacturing in Europe. The Israeli army mistakenly kills 3 hostages in Gaza. What Israel thought would be a military parade is turning into a nightmare, according to international analyst Eduardo Luque. The EU does not call for ceasefire in Gaza, despite requests from Spain and Belgium. Petro believes that Israel must change governments to achieve peace in Gaza. Economy. The World Bank warns of debt dangers for developing economies. Failure in the matrix. According to the IMF, the fragmentation of the world economy would cause a new Cold War. The Fed admits that the US could enter a recession in 2024. According to Michael Snyder, the media says inflation is under control, but food prices have gone up. They say unemployment is low, but big companies are laying off workers en masse. And they say things are getting better for the middle class, but most of us have less money than in 2019. Russia. The gold reserve in Russia exceeds $150 billion for the first time. The Bank of Russia raises its main interest rate by 1 point to 16% annually. Russia seeks to increase the supply of its energy resources to China. Argentina. Argentina withdraws its ambassadors to the UN and several countries. The Argentine government announces economic measures to avoid a catastrophe. Milei will ask for extraordinary powers to carry out its first reforms. Milei's shock program begins. It is unavoidable that society will come out to complain. My priority is to avoid hyperinflation, says Milei after raffling off her deputy's salary. Milei and the USA unrequited love. Unrequited love? Question. His affection for Trump could harm his with Biden. I repeat it. His affection for Trump could harm his interest with Biden. It's the same. The Development Bank of Latin America approves a loan to Argentina of $960 million. Grandmothers of Plaza de Mayo on alert due to Argentine government's anti-picketing protocol. Americas. Chile is torn between Pinochet's constitution and even more radical Magna Carta, according to Álvaro Roslik. A powerful storm will hit Florida and the U.S. East Coast this weekend. Microseisms are recorded in Mexico City. AMLO inaugurates the first section of the tourist Mayan train. The governor of Arizona orders the deployment of the National Guard on its border with Mexico. Mexico is a country very torn by violence, and there is no strategy to improve, says Mexican writer Hiram Rubalcaba. The fortune of Mexican magnate Carlos Slim exceeds $100 billion. Russia and Venezuela seek to recover their oil production from a couple of years ago. Venezuela and Guyana will resolve the Essequibo dispute through the Geneva Agreement. Bolivia inaugurates its first industrial lithium carbonate plant. Bolivia is committed to leading the world lithium market despite the drop in its price. Peruvian congressmen present a motion of censure against President Boluarte. Curious. The Voyager 1 space probe sends strange messages. NASA explained that its engineers are working to solve the problem in a computer on the ship, although it could take weeks to solve it. Unraveled the mysteries of an ancient culture that settled on the border between the states of Colorado and Utah. The discoveries include enormous galleries and petroglyphs that date from various historical periods. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.